All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell, I have officially changed the name of the channel to Chilling with Nelly. Nelly being more. Because it was more, to me, just kind of fit my personality. I felt like it was a little bit more just kind of the angle in which I was trying to go at. But nonetheless, I did change the channel. So thank you first and foremost to everyone who watched the previous video, which is my welcome video. Everyone who subscribed, everyone who just took the time out of their day just to see what I had to say. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. But as you can tell from below, the purpose and title of this video here, well, first and foremost, I'm sitting in my car, as you guys can tell. This is like my happy place. This is my peace. This is my quiet. This is just where I feel like I can get alone for once in my life. This is just where I find my peace and happiness at. This is just my little sanctuary for the time being. However, with that being said, yes, I am shooting this video from my car. But I guess with that being said, this video is what 2018 has taught me, and this is very, 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 very important to me. This video is probably going to be one of the most realest videos you probably ever have seen. I want to keep it as real, raw, and uncut as I can. I don't want to try to sugarcoat anything. Because 2018 is going to produce a lot of videos for you guys, just from love to loss to kids and life and experiences. 2018 has taught me so much. For one, thank God for giving me 2018. One of my biggest inspirations that I look up to is the girl who does Kaleidoscope. Her name is Judy. Well, her real name is Jessica, but you know, she always says on her channel and on her videos and all on her motivational, you know, speeches and stuff, you know, you end the year strong how you want to begin the year. So I definitely want to end 2018 on a strong note, because I want to start 2019 on a strong note. So I felt like I just want to share basically what 2018 has taught me. So if I had to sum 2018 up in a sentence or a phrase or just a word, I would say broken but thankful. 2018 definitely was a really hard year for me, but it was also a very blessed year for me. I can honestly say that I am thankful for everything that happened in 2018, just from start to finish. So a breakdown of my 2018. The year started off really good, really promising. I was in a relationship and happy and love and thought the world rose and set on this person. And, you know, things just, you know, we came into 2018 with high hopes. I will say that I came into 2018 thinking, you know, I was going to be married and had a baby and live this life. And unfortunately, things just didn't work out how I thought they would. But we'll get on to that later on down the line. The beginning of 2018, I bought a car, as you guys can see, because I'm sitting in the car, although it's a piece of crap. I bought a car. I bought a house in the beginning of 2018. Like I said, I was pregnant with my son in the beginning of 2018. My son actually came in March. So, you know, the start of 2018, within like the first 3 months, I did have my son. My son was supposed to come on April 20th, but my son did come March 31st. So he came 3 weeks early. But other than that, the beginning of my year started out really, really good. I guess my year took a turn in March. A week before I gave birth to my son, I did find out that the person I was with was cheating on me with someone else. So that kind of just started the kind of ball into things just spiraling like really, really rapidly. So not only was this person cheating, but they were, you know, they had been carrying on a relationship. So, of course, you know, I took it really hard being pregnant and, you know, going through what I was going through. So, my son ended up coming early, like I said. Once my son came early, then I want to say like 3 or 4 days after giving birth, I found out that the house I was renting in Winder, Georgia, the plumbing actually failed in that house. The water pressure was like really low. We couldn't wash clothes, things like that. So we contacted the like the realty company who was dealing with it, and they basically said that the septic in the house had failed. It was like really bad. The city basically had condemned the house. Well, initially they told me I only had to be gone for 12 days for the pipe to be replaced that had failed, because they said it was one pipe that had failed. So after that, I was supposed to only be gone for 12 days, like I said, and then I ended up being told, I want to say on like day 5 or day 6 of being gone, I was told that we couldn't move back in at all, because when they went in to replace the pipes, they found more stuff was wrong, and the whole entire septic system had failed, and basically the city of Winder condemned the house. So they said it wasn't it wasn't inhabitable, so we couldn't move back in. So we had to move out. So I had to do that by May the 1st. I had to move all of our belongings in such a short time. But I mean, thankfully, you know, I did have people in my corner. I did have help. So I went and stayed somewhere. And then on June the 3rd, my son's father, well, my kid's father, and the person I was with ended up going to jail on a federal case. And that was a really hard blow. Like, despite the cheating and everything that went on, you know, I love that man, and it was nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for him. And to know that, like, our 2-month-old son just wouldn't have their dad, it just, you know, it hit hard. It really, really did. It was a real struggle for me. I took that really hard. However, I will say some other things transpired that I won't really go into, because it's kind of like another video, but some other things transpired with that same person, and it really just had me at my lowest. I went through postpartum with my son. I felt like I had lost my house. JT went to jail, you know, things just, oh, by the way, his name is JT, but a lot of things that had happened, I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Like, I was so, you know, overwhelmed. You know, the one thing that JT did keep telling me, he was like, keep reaching out to Pastor Cleveland, keep reaching out to him. He'll be there. He'll talk to you, because every time he would call, I would tell him how stressed out I was, you know, how, you know, I wasn't, and I'm like, I don't know this man don't know me. I'm not telling him my business. I'm not doing this. You know, I thought he was tripping. And so I told him, I was like, I'm not doing that. I just was completely against it. I would not talk to him. So I ended up selling some equipment that he had, some musical equipment that belonged to him. I ended up selling it, and I ended up selling it to Pastor Cleveland. And so I remember talking to him a few times, and he invited me to church, and I was just like, yeah, you know, I'll come if I can, you know, I'll see, you know, you know, church ain't really my thing, but, you know, I'll check it out. And I just, you know, I kind of dismissed it. I'm not going to lie. You know, if I'm going to be real, raw, and uncut, like, I kind of dismissed it at first. I was like, yeah, okay. And so I went one Sunday, and Chris was preaching, not Pastor Cleveland. Chris was. And so I was like, okay, you know, it was cute for what it was. You know, I was like, it was good. It made me feel better. It did. But I wasn't saved. So I don't think that at that point I really, I just wasn't saved at that point. I wasn't. And when I tell you guys how I got saved, y'all gonna laugh at me, but it's like so true. So, you know, I just kind of felt really awkward being there, like, because of the situation, and because, like, you know, just how things played out. I just felt really awkward. I hadn't been to church in so long, so many years. Like, I had always prayed, and I always knew God was real, but I was never a religious person. I was never the one that was just, you know, anything like that. You know, I prayed when things happen, of course, you know, like everybody else does. Like, of course, when things went wrong, I would pray, or the police pulled me over or something, like, I'd be like, oh God, please don't let me get no ticket or something. But I never took my faith seriously. I never really invested much time into it. I never owned a Bible. I never did any of those things. So, but I just remember, like, I know, like, we had a conversation one time, and I was just like, you know, maybe talking to somebody would be good, because, like I said, I went through postpartum. I had, like, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. You know, I was struggling. I was on my own with 2 kids. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I was going to make things shake. And so, things got kind of bad at one point. And I remember like just being like at a point where I couldn't even focus on being a mom and enjoying the blessing of having 2 kids, because I was just so stressed out. I didn't know how I was going to feed them. You know, I didn't know where money was going to come from. Like, I was so just at my lowest point that I had ever been in life. And I was talking to JT one day, and he was like, well, you know, the only person I can tell you to talk to is talk to Pastor Cleveland, because, you know, he's the only person, you know, he's going to pray for you. And I was just like, what God going to do for me? God don't hear me. God don't care about me. God don't, you know, look at what God put me through. Look at what God taking me through. If God cared about me, you know, I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through. And so, that's just how I looked at it at that time. And so then I had asked him, I was like, I remember Pastor Cleveland telling me about his wife one time, and, you know, he was telling me like something that she had said, and I'll never forget. He was like, you know, my wife always says you can do bad by yourself. And I remember every time I seen her, she just like, she didn't look approachable. She didn't look like she really like wanted to talk. So I remember like, and I told her this in church, but I got to a point in my life where like I literally was sitting in my car one night and I just wanted to give up. I just asked God, I was like, just take me from here, because I'm not providing for my kids. I just wanted to give up. I was so depressed. I was so low. I was so broken. I was so hurt. I was so devastated. My whole world just shattered. And I didn't know where to turn. And so when I went to church, that happened on a Saturday night. So Sunday morning I went to church, and I don't know what made me just get up and go to church, but I got up and I went to church, and I talked to her. Like I talked to Pastor Cleveland's wife. Her name's Ashonda. I talked to her, and she talked to me, which surprised me because everybody was like, oh, she's so mean. But she wasn't. She was so real, and she was so, you know, she just was so understanding to me. And she just pulled me into this room, and she just talked to me, and she was like, Chanel, if you just pray. And she was like, I don't pray like they pray either. Because I was telling her, I was like, I don't know how to pray. Like, I don't know what to say. She was just like, talk to God. Like, she was like, I don't pray like they pray either. It's okay. And she just talked to me. And from that day, like, I told her, like, she saved my life. Like, if it was not for her, like, I'm telling y'all, like, that lady saved my life. Like, she don't even know, but, like, she saved my life. Because I was just, like, so ready to just give up. But she saved my life. And that's why I say 2018, like, it broke me on so many levels. But it taught me so much, because I understand now that God will take everything from you if you don't get it. Like, it was so many times where God tried to show me, and God tried to be like, okay, Chanel, this is what you're supposed to do, or this is how it's supposed to go. And I didn't listen. I didn't accept it and hear it. You know, I was just too busy doing it on my own. And he had to take everything away from me that was distracting me. He had to take everything from me that was causing me to lose focus. Like my house, I put more emphasis on my house than I did God. I can get another house. Like, God has shown me that I can rebuild and I can get another house. You know, my car wasn't working then, but thank God it's working now. Like, God literally took any and everything out of my life that was like discouraging me and disfocusing me. Sorry, y'all, it was a fly in here, and I don't know why there's a fly in the wintertime, but there was a fly in here. But God really just showed me that, you know, sometimes he'll take everything from you to get you to see what your purpose is, to get you to see what your goal, what he wants you to do, and to do his work and to save you. Like, I accepted God as my savior in my car. Like, when I left church, I literally like just cried and broke down and just talked to God and was like, that's how, like, I didn't go to no altar and say, you know, pray and do all this. I literally did it in my car by myself and was just like, God, like, I need you. I need your help. I can't do this without you. And that was like the best moment of my life. I feel like ever since then, things have been so much better. I would be lying on this camera if I said that I didn't still have depression, because I do. If I didn't still have anxiety, because I do. But I now know that giving up isn't the answer. I do know that I have, you know, faith that God is working it out. I do have faith that God is making a way for me, that, you know, the things that have happened, you know, is to teach me, it's to push me to my ultimate goal, it's to push me to doing God's work. It made me realize, you know, what God has for me is for me, and nobody else can take that from me. And it has really showed me that, you know, I have a purpose, I have a calling. Like, God really has made a way for me out of no way. So that's why I said my 2018 has been the hardest 2018 ever. And it has, like, really just broken me in so many ways. And I was so devastated and so lost and so confused. I didn't know which way was up, but not for God. Like, I'm telling you, but not for God, I would not be here today. And God puts people in your path. God puts people in your way to show you that you can do this. And God put people in my path. God put people, you know, in my corner to support me. And I know that if I ever needed anything, I could call, you know, the pastor and the first lady and just talk to them, and they're there for me. You know, when my son was sick, they were there for me with prayers, and they've been there for me every step of the way. And it's not awkward anymore. It's not, you know, it was so weird going to church, and it was so awkward, and I used to, like, feel so out of place at first, because and then I just felt I don't know, like, I just felt weird. But now I love it. And now if I don't go, I'd be like, dang, what did I miss? Like, you know, so I definitely try to go every Sunday. I try not to miss it at all, because I feel like every Sunday I go, it's a message. I feel like something is for me. I can take something from everything, no matter who's preaching. I do find a way to take something. I listen to a lot more gospel music now. I'm not angry as much. I mean, I still do get angry a lot, and that's one thing I am working on. But that is something I'm working on, you know, with my anger and stuff like that. But I guess the message I can say from this is that sometimes God will remove people, places, things out of your way, just to benefit you, to make things better for you. And you just have to be understanding to that. You have to be accepting to that. You have to be encouraged to know that you may not understand it at first, because trust me, I did not understand it at all. I didn't get it. But after time went on, after I realized, okay, God, I get it, I understand now, you know, that's how I gained my walk with God. So that's why I say my 2018 was broken but thankful. So if you don't take anything from this video, please, please, please take the fact that God has a purpose for you. God has a calling on you. Giving up is not the answer. No matter what you are